Hi, everybody. It is Wednesday. Happy Wind Down Wednesday. Very excited to join y'all tonight. We will be back in about 30 seconds, so grab whatever you need, and I'll see you back here in a second. All right, everyone. So happy to see y'all tonight. If you are joining us live, I'd love to see where you're at, if you've already started school, or if you are just in that week of like teacher trainings, teacher meetings, getting the classroom set up, all of those things. So, wherever you're joining from, we'd love to see you in the comments. Come say hello. Um, my goodness, so much is happening. I feel like this is like Super Bowl season for teachers. We are prepping everything under the sun right now, like everything under the sun. It's a whole lot of stuff. We are trying to prepare our hearts and our minds for like making that transition back to school. We are, if we have our own young ones at home, we are getting them ready, getting all their supplies, calming all the nerves, getting all the schedules ready to go. We are looking at like even things like packing lunches and bus schedules and what time we got to wake up, what time we got to get out the door, all the things. It is so much stuff. So I am like you, I'm totally feeling that. There's just a whole lot happening. Um, so tonight I kind of wanted to chat a little bit about that, but of course, very excited that this platform is back. Wind Down Wednesday, every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. And tonight is just me, but usually I'll have a teammate or two with me talking about all kinds of different ideas. If there is a topic that you would like for us to chat about, you can always send us a DM or an email, and we would be happy to unpack that topic as well. I want to share with y'all, this is a great piece of information as, again, we're kind of getting ready for back to school. Our colleague at Alicia has her incredible family and BPAC information series. So those are back. They are available multiple times throughout the day. So she offers like morning, afternoon, and evening sessions. She offers these sessions in English and in Spanish, and they are free to everybody. So it's a wonderful thing for us to kind of check out and keep in our back pocket. All of that information is available on the IRC website. And you can even print out the full schedule of topics, dates and times, and registration links. All of these are done through Zoom. They are not recorded, and we do that intentionally. So that way we're kind of just nurturing that safe space, that community, so that family members feel safe contributing their thoughts, ideas, questions, and things like that. So it's a great place to connect families so that we can empower them and equip them with great information as they serve and support their students. So tonight's topic again is all of those things, back to school vibes. And I feel like this is a really rough season for many of us. We're battling a lot of like our own anxieties, I think. I was in a few different districts this week, and I spent a little bit of time with some folks just kind of talking about like the back to school dreams, like the anxiety dreams that we get. And I feel like every year they just like progressively grew weirder and weirder. And I don't know, like sometimes I'd wake up and be like, what does that even mean? And sometimes I'd wake up and like, oh, I know exactly what I'm worried about. So I shared a few different of my back to school dreams. One was like during pandemic teaching. And I had like, it was a director who sent me an email and said, hey, Carly, I saw your last email that went out to staff. Thanks so much. I just want to make sure though from now on, every message you send must be bioluminescent. And I remember kind of thinking in my dream, like, what does that even mean? He wants my messages to glow in the dark. I don't even know what that would look like or what that would entail. But I remember in my dream, I was like, okay, no problem. And then I woke up like super worried, like, how am I going to make sure all of my future messages glow in the dark? Very bizarre. And then I had another dream. And again, it was the kind of the same season of pandemic teaching where I had a dream that my director was like, I really need you. I'm going to send you a shoebox, or not a shoebox, a lunchbox in the mail. And I want you to take the lunchbox and like prop your computer up so we can all see what's about to happen. And I want you to put yourself into the shoebox or into the lunchbox. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure that it closes. And again, in my dream, I'm like, no problem. I can do that. And then I woke up worried about how I was going to do that. Like, I always get that like weird window in between like dreamland and reality where I'm like, yeah, that was real. I really need to figure out how I'm going to fix this, how I'm going to do this idea. I don't know. I also had a dream that my class roster, instead of student pictures, it was all penguins, like just different penguins. Like that was going to be my class. I was going to teach penguins for that school year. So if you have back to school dreams that are causing you some anxiety, I hear ya. I think that's a real part of this season. So, it's okay. We all have the strange dreams. We all have that sense of anxiety. We also have a lot of excitement. So when I was on last week with Rachel, we were talking about kind of amping up for the like back to school night, where like sometimes it's called meet the teacher or popsicles with the principal or whatever. And they're all kind of structured a little bit differently. But like we talked about things that we would bring, things that we might distribute to families, and kind of like those first impressions, right? That's kind of like the first handshake. That's the first interaction we are able to have face to face with families that are coming in. And so tonight I kind of want to take that idea, but just kind of open it up a little bit broader because again, we have a lot of anxiety, fears, excitement, and joy going back into the classroom, but our students all do too. And I can tell you, like, all the conversations we have been having at home, not only this year and this season, but in years prior, kids, our kids worry about a lot of different things. Like, middle school, high school, we're worried about, who am I going to know in my classes? Who am I going to know at lunch? What is the lunchtime routine? All of those types of things. But really, I think at the end of the day, all of our students just want to know that it's going to be okay, that it's going to be okay, that they're going to have some buddies, they're going to make some new friends, they're going to learn some new things, and everything will be okay. So I'm curious for those of you who are tuning in tonight or you're catching the replay later, I'm curious, like, what are the most important things for you that you do as you're like kind of just prepping the vibe, right? So when we were together for EmpowerCon this summer, one thing that we were really intentional with, like creating a fun and energizing space. So we thought about like, okay, from the moment folks pull up into the parking lot and they're walking into the space, we want them to feel a sense of connection to us already. So we went outside and we did a bunch of chalk messages. We're so glad that you're here. We're so excited to see you. We're happy that you're here today. Just little messages like that. And I know as I've been following different schools and districts on social media, I've seen a lot of folks doing that as well. And I think that's just so cool as students walk in to see those little affirmations and to see it's almost like a little hug or a little high five. So I love that. There is a school in my community where they welcomed students in with like their drum line and their marching band and their dance team and cheer team were out there with the principal, like really excited as kids were walking in and giving hugs and high fives. And I thought that was super cool. Like it kind of sets the tone, right? Like for that first day, it kind of gives that energy, right? That positive vibe that this is an exciting day for all of us. So I like that one as well. I thought that was really unique, right? Like I think that's a really cool thing to do. I've also seen teachers start to send emails already to their elementary, their middle school, and their secondary students like, hey, can't wait to see you. And I love those little messages because they're short and sweet. And again, that kind of requires that they're all, students are already connected to certain platforms and things like that. But even if the teachers are sending it to their family email list, I think that's super, super cool. I've seen a few different school districts will post like a bedtime story like the night before the first day of school. And I think that's a lot of fun too. So many different ways for us to kind of set the tone even before kids walk into the building. And that's really cool that we're already kind of thinking, 10 steps ahead of the first day to be really intentional with the vibe so that we're setting the stage of like, this is an exciting time and it's okay if you have, worries or nerves, like we're all going to figure it out. But we would love, love, love to hear your thoughts and your ideas about what you do to create those positive vibes, especially that first week of school, because it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And if you are currently serving in an administrative or leadership role, right, you're kind of thinking of all these different lenses. You're thinking of the students, the families, but you're also thinking about the educators who are in the space and how are we creating a positive, energizing, optimistic, hopeful vibe for all of the folks that we serve. And so I've been hearing a lot of different stories and examples of folks who have done like all different kinds of things for like, those initial PD days where everyone kind of comes together. I think the best gift in those cases is time in our classrooms so that we can just kind of get all the nuts and bolts done. And that way it just kind of frees up our mental load, our mental capacity a little bit. If we're so stressed about our to-do lists, it might make some learning experiences difficult to sit through. I'll say that. So yeah, I don't know. I've seen a few different ones of like, when we have new staff coming in, there have been moments where they have given like tours of the community, tours of different campuses in the district. And I think that's really cool too, especially for, like if I am working in the high school, like, and this is my new job at the high school, I want to go and visit all of the different elementary and junior high schools in the area just to kind of get a sense of, what our kids are used to and then what they're stepping into. Because that always gives us, I think, some interesting perspectives. So I think that's really cool and fun. I've also seen like there's been a lot of like hot debate, and there is every August. I see it every August. You probably have seen it too. All of the different social media posts about like icebreakers for staff meetings. And it's a pretty it's a pretty hot topic. And I know I've talked about it a lot too. Many adults are really not ready or in the mood to do an icebreaker, especially if it feels kind of disconnected, especially if it takes a whole lot of time. And the desire is really to be in the classroom getting stuff ready and set up. And so we want to make sure all those experiences are meaningful. But I also will say too, if we have anxieties or frustration with icebreakers, are we going to then turn around and do icebreakers with our students? So again, sometimes they are very purposeful and intentional, and I think that's great. But how we structure them, how much time is spent on them, the expectation of them, I think all of those things need to be kind of just be thought through, of course, as we talk about back to school vibes. I've seen a few different schools post like how they welcome kids. So again, I gave the example of like the marching band, the cheer team, the dance team, greeting folks as they come in. I've also seen like the principals like high-fiving kids as they come into the buildings. I've heard music being pumped through the halls. I think that's super cool. So there's a lot of different things that we can do before students even get into the classroom to kind of create that energizing, happy, optimistic vibe. So we would love to hear what you do as an educator. We'd love to hear what your school does, especially that first day, that first week. I know there's a lot of time spent on like routines and expectations and things like that, but it's really, again, at the end of the day, what do we really want kids to know and feel? We want them to feel excited and happy and safe and comfortable. So that's really where our focus should be as we go into the school year. And again, these are all good things to revisit too. Just do a quick vibe check, as our younger kids would say. We need to do a vibe check. All right, y'all. I am going to close out here a little bit early tonight because I still have some work to do. And yeah, again, it's back to school season for all of us. So I know all of us are just swamped with so much stuff happening. So if you have thoughts and ideas of ways that you kind of bring positive energy and to really build up some happy back to school vibes, leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments. And we'd love to hear them. Hope you are all having a great week, and we will be back next week with another Wind Down Wednesday. Take care, everyone.